So, you've had other folks pick your characters for you, but none of them ever really stick out to you. But you picked them anyway because it's what your team would have wanted. Surely they'll recognize and appreciate what you do for them whenever the time comes, right? But under all that bravado and acts of selflessness grows a need. Something within your core that just grows sick and tight and thrashing to get out. You try to ignore it, live your life being the good little teammate that you are, but the sinking feeling never leaves. It only grows stronger. You look in the mirror, but instead of seeing yourself, you see something wrong. Repulsively different, yet comfortably familiar. And it speaks to you. Haven't you grown tired of being nice? Don't you want to let loose and let the voices take over? Anyways, hi, hello, it's me, the TF2SFM in your niche anime MOBA Battle Royale, called Eternal Return, which, believe it or not, is free. And today I've arrived to yap your ear off over our local ghost girl of the island. I've already dragged the intro long enough, so I'll just spitfire the disclaimers and we'll be on our way. I am not a flawless gamer. I play the game casually, barely touch rank, and even when I do, I play with a group of friends. Case in point, I do not know everything about Leanne and how she works down to the numbers. So if you were expecting some optimal, ultra-detailed guide on how to play her, this video ain't it. I'm also assuming that you know the usual ERBS terms and nonsense like weapon mastery, skill amp, so on and so forth. If you don't, I have other videos that could get you up to speed on that too. Alright, now that's out of the way. Let me finally try and help you understand how to play Leanne. Without any context, Leanne's stats are a bit all over the place. Numbers so high that it makes it a little confusing on how you're meant to play her. And usually whenever you spot one in the wild, she's either a total joke or an absolute menace. But just like the dagger she's got with her, one that scales with attack power, once you get your hands on her, you'll see why real soon. So let's do exactly that, shall we? By starting off with her skills. Starting with her passive, Leanne has a little bar that goes up whenever she starts attacking. Once that bar is half full, Leanne reminds you of her little paranormal condition and she transforms into a big spooky ghost mode. When this happens, Leanne heals a bit of health back, her damage goes up, and all of her skills change. Any damage she deals with her skills deal true damage and heal her. If you're not in combat, Leanne will rapidly lose her spooky ghost mode bar mentioned earlier, and once it's empty, she'll go back to normal, leaving you in your fragile little human state to try and get to the good part again. Her Q has her dagger stab itself forward and deal damage. Landing a hit with it will shorten its cooldown, allowing you to stab way more often, which is handy when you're trying to go ghost. Speaking of, her Q while she's all spooky has her up the big hand to where you're aiming that'll try to clutch anything within its grasp. If it catches something, it deals damage and roots anyone grabbed for a little bit. Her W swipes the dagger in front of Leanne. Besides damage, it'll also slow anyone hit, and that's pretty much it. Thankfully, this skill does a bit more when she's all scary. If she W's while she's all purple, it has a really small cooldown. You get a boost of movement speed every time you hit something with it, and once you do, you also get a stack of thrash. Okay, you get a stack of thrash, which can go up 3 stacks. Each stack reduces the cooldown of her other skills every time you land a hit with W. So in layman's terms, do this a lot. Her E has Leanne fly forward with the dagger out. This can also go through walls. If it hits anything, it allows Leanne to cast E again before it enters its cooldown. Big angry mode, she slams her big arm down and drags anyone hit towards her afterwards. Dagger skill allows Leanne to go completely invisible for a very brief moment, granting a sharp boost in movement speed in the process. After that, using the skill again on anything will have Leanne teleport behind the target and deal a bit of damage. Helpful for when you want to sneak into the backlines while you're still in your squishy human form, or for getting away when the heat's getting too hot. Also, you can't use dagger skill when you're a ghost. Tragic, I know. And lastly, her ult. Leanne's R does nothing when you're human. You can only use it when you're all Orpal. When you are, you let the voices completely take over and become even more ghastly. So long as you got half a bar to spare, Leanne will briefly disappear and dash forward very angrily as a big scary ghost while her human form floats about in her original position. In this state, you get a bigger health bar, and you cannot do anything but kill. You move fast, you swing fast, and if you swing enough times, the enemy will even get scared as you tear them apart.
Hello! Post-editing me back at it again because I forgot to bring something important in the script again. While Leanne is in her ult, she also heals a ton per swing. You should really abuse that. It's really good. It helps you with keeping yourself alive.
You can't go very far while in this state, and you're still very deterrable, all while rapidly losing your big angry bar. Once you walk too far from your human self, use the skill again, or run out of ghost fuel, you'll return to being human whether you like it or not. However, if you die while in this state, you will zip back to your original position where you started the whole ordeal, return to normal, and have a smidge of health lift. So I hope you have an escape plan for this. And done! That's about all of Leanne's skills, roughly explained, give or take.
I'm sorry, I have quick step, my lady.
With that out of the way, let's start talking about how to put all of this together. Now, depending on your loadout, you can play around with a smidge of whatever sense you have left, or you could let the voices completely take over. One thing is certain though, once you go into a game with Leanne, you quickly realize that she's one hell of a feast or famine kind of character. As you can imagine, you're gonna want to spend a good portion of your life being this, and not this, as that's where all of your power is, and also where you're not so defenseless. Sadly, you don't get the luxury of staying that way, so anytime you run into a single soul on the island, boy, I hope you have a plan on how you're gonna become the man behind the slaughter, because if you don't, you'll drop as quickly as that chicken you killed earlier. Okay, I may make it sound like it's a daunting task to go ghost in a fight without completely losing your life in the process, and I'm only partially correct. Leanne does have a few tricks up her sleeve on how she can keep that bar up and even get a sneaky little engage, which I'll cover in about now. So the neat part about building that funky bar is that it's gonna go up whenever you attack, which includes attacking animals. So you can keep one or two kicking in an area that you can use as a little battery for your tomfoolery whenever you run into something bipedal. Now you may ask, should I really just keep a couple of animals alive instead of farming them just for the off chance I might run into someone? And if you drop the drama and think for once, you can always kill them off once you're done with the zone, and even then, you can probably use the old premonition in the sense if something feels off about the zone you're in. So it's not like you lose a lot for keeping a single chicken alive. If that's still too much planning for you, remember that Leanne gets stacks of ghosts for simply attacking. She doesn't actually have to hit anything. The problem with that strategy is that all that ghost nonsense is gonna disappear nearly instantly if you're not in any actual combat. So how do we fix that? Always remain in combat. How, you ask? Go the fuck in the animals yet again. Just get a chicken to peck you every now and then, and huzzah! If you can endure the endless torment of a chicken bothering you, then you can maintain your battery until the time to strike finally arrives. And speaking of smooth segues, Leanne can't use dagger skill whenever she transforms, but folks have found this neat trick where you can use it as you're transforming. So you can use this to give your victims a little jump scare to kick things off. Now all of that was just one of a few ways to get all scary and powerful with Leanne. But what do you do when you finally get to that point? Whee! Thankfully the game plan is a hell of a lot simpler once you finally get all purple. Just kill everyone. Every skill in your disposal is there to help you keep everyone in arm's length from you. And when they are, they won't last very long. And in the chance that your health bar is looking lower than theirs, not to worry, as you can pull a Dark Souls and activate your ult to enter your second phase. Leanne also vanishes as she ults, and it's not just a visual thing. You can actually use this brief vanishing act to dodge stuff if you time things right, which can be very satisfying to pull off.
How'd you guess what I just did? I used Leanne ult to dodge, Eastbound ultimate.
Oh, well, I'm glad you could do what I couldn't.
And speaking of Dark Souls, all of this nonsense usually works. Usually. Yeah, as much as I'd love to hammer in the power fantasy of being a bloodthirsty, unstoppable ghost, as of writing this video's script, Leanne definitely has some fundamental flaws that you have to deal with when playing her. So when you're starting out, I recommend that you take it a little easy and maybe play the poking game to get your spooky, scary bar up. Especially since even when you miss, you gain some ghost bar anyway. So you could play a little lame and just swing at nothing to get all big and scary, and then go in. Is what I would say if I was a bitch. No one is gonna be merciful to you on that island, and you know it. So why would you be merciful to them? Why should you be merciful to yourself? You see someone? Give them the old razzle-dazzle. Catch them off guard and watch them flinch as your hand grows bigger than their head. Never let them go. Prove to them that you are the bloodthirsty, unstoppable ghost that's come here to reap the island of its sins. And thanks to the power of loadouts, you can equip various gears that can help you with certain problems that you might run into. They keep running away? How about some of that funny quick step? Dying too fast? First of all, skill issue. Second of all, more Omni-Siphon. The voices were right all along. After all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I just go in and go mad?
I'm here too.
Her Q has her... Ugh, I gotta sneeze. Ugh.